There are a few moments that leave me speechless. Like choking on the silence of words that had been swallowed down the wrong windpipe as I stood at the kitchen sink, feeling the wet from her soapy hands clung to my back, trying to process the whisper that leaked from her cracked lips. I feel broken. I feel broken, she said. To which I said, nothing. Too angry, too furious at the empty in my throat for not pulling from my sleeve the comfort she needed most. It was all I could do to just hold her, like setting a fractured bone, like holding in how angry I was that the only thing broken was my ability to tell her how unbroken she is. I wanted to tell her that the only thing broken is the voice of a community that has no idea how large it is because of how silent it is, how many of the women in this world, how many of the wombs in this room have hidden beneath blouses the scar of miscarriage, like a scarlet letter M, too afraid or ashamed to raise their hand among strangers and let each other know they are not alone. The only thing broken is the healthcare system that can't seem to give us answers on how to manually operate a process that's supposed to be on autopilot. That what's broken is the advice that we get that tells us all you need to do is get lots of rest, and staying active is pretty much best, and drink lots of milk and take lots of steps and put this ointment on your breast and put your right foot in and stand on your left and make sure you don't travel until the third trimester, and oh, don't forget to get the killer cell test because those killer cells are a mess, and if you have them, you can certainly bet that your chances of conception will be a mess. But most importantly, I need you to not forget that it's really important that both of you don't stress. Are you kidding me? Don't stress? Fucking killer cells? And I'm supposed to not stress? That advice is not doing what it's intended to do. That is what I want to tell you. That's what I want to tell you. That the word broken merely describes something not functioning as it was intended to. But that first assumes that we understand the ultimate intention for it. A messy lab bench and petri dishes contaminated by mold was not what Alexander Fleming intended to find when he returned from vacation, but instead of discarding them, what appeared broken at first glance, and he chose instead to look closer. And in doing so, he discovered the world's first antibiotic that came to be known as penicillin, that let millions of people live the lives they were intended to live, like Ann Miller, the first patient healed by penicillin after a life-threatening infection that was due to a miscarriage. See, we don't always know God's intention for a thing. So who are we to say that the thing is not working perfectly? If the heavens intended for our baby to be called up early so that he could lend an angelic hand to God's divine work, then you, my dear, worked perfectly. If the body intended to stop our baby's chromosomes from birthing him into a clenched fist of too few breaths before a premature, painful death, then you, my love, worked perfectly. If the universe knew that we weren't ready, and I'm not ready according to our intentions, not we need a bigger house or more money or less stress ready, but the kind of not ready determined by the cosmic blueprint that knows they need to fortify this thing within them first in order to be the parents they were intended for with this birth. If that was the all-knowing intent of this universe, then perfectly, my wife, perfectly is how you worked. So look closer when you stand at your petri dish-shaped mirror and cannot see yourself behind its cracks. Look closer, because where you see a scar, I see a homing device that calls out to my lips. It is handcrafted to be the place that stores my every kiss, and it still works perfectly. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I just don't understand the meaning of the word broken. Because like if you mean broken like your ability to turn off lights in the house before leaving, then agreed, you are definitely broken. I mean, if you mean, I'm just saying to me, like if you mean your ability to not ask me 20 questions during the movie, call the repairman right now, because you are very, very broken, right? If you mean your capacity to see a space in our home and just leave it the fuck alone, without turning it into some HGTV DIY arts and crafts project, then yes, you are incorrigibly, irreparably broken. And yet, what is broken in you is what makes your shine work like it do. It's what makes me know that Rumi's words must be true, that the wound is where the light enters you. Because you have become living kintsukurai, the ancient Japanese art of taking broken ceramic objects and reassembling them using gold as glue in order to create something even more beautiful. It is the distressed oak that calls to you, the chipped and cracked jewelry that tells you its dreams of becoming a chandelier. This is where your magic lies, to take that condemned as worthless and prove it wonderful, to craft extraordinary art from ordinary parts and then think to yourself, how could this ever have been anything else? So this is the you I want to show you. The you that simply needs to do the DIY thing you do on you. The you that is more than enough to get through, because the stressed you has this blessed you to bring out the distressed you. You have this extra you to bring out the best of you. When the first you can't see past the mirror's cracks to the rest of you, you have this second you to help fill your hole with the double you that reminds you that you are whole. A whole. A whole that is so much more than the sum of your scars. And you know this because when someone asks you about one of your scars, you don't answer as if needing to prove. It doesn't define who you are. You simply tell them, I fell. And this scar is the evidence that my flesh was broken. But me here is the evidence that I was not. I fell. And the life that I've lived since this skin was broken is the evidence that I work just fine. And maybe that is all you really needed to hear. Perhaps as I held you, my words failed to appear so that you could find your own words to help you DIY your cracked mirror into the art that I see in you every day. Because if you are broken, then you are broken like the thing that is better for being broken, like bread at a meal that says, I share this with you. We experience this together and you are not alone. This is how you are broken. Like the riveted skin on her grandmother's hands, that hieroglyph stories of a life that worked perfectly broken. Like the curse of infertility on a mother holding her adopted newborn broken. Like a piggy bank come time to spend all the savings broken. Like world records that were made to be broken. Like dawn when sunlight fills wounds once broken. Like your back. The night I stopped making love to you for reproduction and got back to breathless fucking like your knight and shining husband. We are all broken, baby. We are all broken in some way. We are chipped teeth and smiles and clenched fists. We are all broken. They need a rewind. You saying they need a rewind? That's what you're telling me? They need a rewind. The night I stopped making love to you for reproduction and got back to breathless fucking like your knight and shining husband. We are all broken in some way. We are chipped teeth and smiles and clenched fists and hope and bloody knuckles and surrender. And we are broken like the silence of a community that is no longer afraid to raise its hand in a room full of strangers and let you know that you are not alone. That I too have worn that scarlet M and you are not alone. That I am a parent just the way, at just the time that God intended for me to be a parent. So if you are broken just like me. You are broken like whole. You are broken like right. You, my unstoppable wife. You are broken like the flesh of a moment that will leave a scar. And years from now, our child will sit on your lap and will reach up and touch your scar like touching the angel wings above our bed, like touching the ultrasound picture in our photo album, like reaching into your belly and touching that scarlet letter M on your womb that was unable to define you. And she will ask, "Mommy, what happened here?" And you will smile at the amazing life of get up that brought you to that moment, to be able to look lovingly at our child and respond by simply saying, "I fell." Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you. I love you, baby. I can't do nothing after that. I can't do no more poetry right now, so I'm just gonna go connect with my wife for a minute. But I want to tell y'all this. Oh, there she is.